Then I talk about showing Chinese in graph. We need a library called Matplotlib.plyplot. I don't want to type the whole thing, so I call it plt. Inside the Matplotlib library, I use the font manager. Here, I don't want to type font manager again and again, so I call it mfm. Inside mfm, I need to create an object mfm font properties. I call it font p. The name is totally up to you. Inside font p, we set font family. This is just like in Notepad. Format font, and you see the various fonts. Here we use Simsum because it can display Chinese and Japanese. So here we set family to Simsum. Feel free to use other fonts. Here we need it for Jap and Chinese. We can also set the font size. Down here, we want to know the daily percentage change of the index. So we need to pick a start and end time. On the left, this long code is just the same as this. I just combined the two lines of code into one. Here you see the first variable start time begins with df, which is the table we mentioned before. The index of the table is the date where we talked about it before. Then square bracket 0 means the first date. I format this to year, month, and day. And do this to the end time as well. The end time's index is -1, which means the last day, and then apply the string time to get year, month, and day. Create a variable called stock name, like whatever name. Add some Japanese, like Nita. Add Chinese, say futures. Let's call it, this is your curly brace. Here the quote is preceded by the letter F, single quote, shift enter. My stock name is now, this is your Nita futures. Here if you use Jupyter Lab, you need the magic line percentage matplotlib.inline to print graph. If you use other editors, you don't need the magic line. Alright, move on to the graph. You see Matplotlib is called PLT. It has something called dot figure. The fig size here means the graph area's size. 15.7 means the width is 15 and height 7. Try change it to 25.7. Okay, shift enter, make it smaller. Now we work on the axis. Axis 1 dot add subplot. It just defines how many graphs shown. Here we only have one, so it shows 111. Since we want to know the daily change percentage, we have df, which is the table we worked on before. Square bracket wraps around our target column, dot histogram. This is what you see. We use AX1 for our axis. For the bin, okay, let's pick 100. Shift enter, then you see more bars, right? Get back to 50. It's totally up to you. The axis 1 will then be separated into x and y axes. The x-axis refers to your index, which is the date. It's just like what you've seen before. The y-axis is how frequent a certain date change percentage occurs. Indeed, it's set in this line of code. Now set title, go back to axis 1. So our title is stock name, and the stock name is, go back up. This is your whatever name. Then a word from start time to end time. So where is it? It's defined here. From day 1 to the last day. Feel free to change it. Now it's the font properties. The font properties determines which font to use. Here you see font P and all the font properties. Now we set Y label, which is what you see here, the vertical axis. Here sets the frequency. If I type freq, I'll show you later. Then the font properties again. Rotation 0 means if you ignore it, Shift Enter, then it will be like this. Let's get back to rotation equals 0. Now it's the x-axis. Here, the font properties of the x-axis are similar. Let's say if I type 111 return, Shift Enter, and you see 111 return in percentage. The last thing is plot.show. The PLT is just this one. It just means we plot the graph. That's it for showing non-English in graph. Let me recap. The first thing is to import Matplotlib, then specify the font properties. It's done in this variable fontp. Inside the fontp, we set the font family and then font size. Then we define the start and end time and the stock name as well. In between, the stock name can be pretty fancy. Then we use the figure fig object to configure how our graph looks like. Define the graph size with fig size. Then I create an axis object which determines title, Y label, and X label. We then add subplot. Here we only have one graph, so 111. Move on to the data. We are looking for date change, which is this one, .histogram. Here you can swap histogram with plot, which is the stocks line graph you see. Indeed, this one is a distribution graph. The daily percentage change is usually up and down within 2%. That's why you see me pick the threshold of going up 2 to 4% and down 2 to 4%. That's what we did. Now we can set the graph title, Y label, X label, and plot.show. Alright, that's it for today. Ciao.